To close out 2020, Phil Spencer had a pretty lengthy interview with Larry Herb, or better known as Major Nelson, the guy that really helped shape the marketing direction of Xbox. Now, a lot of this interview was centered around Xbox and their plans for 2021. They talked about xCloud, services, Game Pass, games, and of course, new games that aren't even announced yet, not to mention studios. It's a really informative interview that truly does shine some light on the future of Xbox's plans, be it from the exclusive games that are coming down the pipeline to games we don't even know about. The amount of information in this interview is pretty staggering, yet the most important part for me was the fact Phil Spencer talks a little more openly about Bethesda's deal, but also the way Microsoft has really put a lot of money and effort into the Xbox platform, which for them is the gaming platform. This interview helps echo a lot of sentiments I've talked about on this channel and helps us understand the strategy Xbox is going into the next year with. And from this interview and the leaks that have been coming out as of late, we can see that Xbox and Microsoft aren't going to slow down next year. Instead, I have a feeling they're going to really push the Xbox platform to heights we've never seen or even knew. And it's all going to start with the games. That's what's important to Phil Spencer and the team at Xbox. It's the studios and the games they are able to build. That to me is what's the most important part of Xbox. It's the fact that they're investing so much money into studios and games. Not just services, but the games that will be coming to those services are what's important. So let's get into this interview and let's see what Phil Spencer had to say about the future of Xbox and the games coming in the next year or so. Because I have a feeling this Xbox Series X generation is going to be Xbox's best generation we've ever seen. But first, like always, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so let's just get straight into this interview because there's a lot to talk about, and honestly, I found it very informative, and I think a lot of what Phil Spencer had to say does really make Xbox look like a platform that will change the way they do things. By that I mean they'll continuously have a lot of exclusive games coming out to the Xbox platform, but in order to do that, Xbox needs the backing from Microsoft so they can invest into those things, which is something Phil Spencer brings up in the interview. But the other thing I'll just say, and this is more probably for me than anybody will care about, the commitment of the company Microsoft has given us when we rolled into Sarah Bond and Matt Booty, and I roll into Satya Nadella, the CEO, and Amy Hood, the CFO, and say, we have this idea. To which Larry Herb said, we need $7 billion. Some people might know this, our CFO for Xbox is somebody named Tim Stewart. He's there, Amy has a ton of trust in him, our business is doing well, we're running a profitable, growing business, they have a lot of belief, but I mean just the fact that we would go through an acquisition of this size for the gaming business at Microsoft, that Monday we were announcing, I couldn't sleep that Sunday night. So let me stop right there because to me this commitment from Microsoft is the sole reason we're getting this many studios and games from Xbox in general. And I'm not just talking about the first party games like Bethesda and other studios. I'm even talking about second party deals they have in place with games like The Ascent, and of course one of the biggest games, Warhammer Darktide, which looks insane. All these games and second party and first party deals are what shows Xbox is trying to make all the gamers be a part of their ecosystem. I don't see this investment slowing down, and I have a feeling they're going to really flex a lot of their money around when 2021 continues to roll on. But that doesn't mean other studios aren't going to be this massive part of their plans, which Phil Spencer mentions here when he continues to talk about the Bethesda deal. I was nervous, I was anxious, I was excited, all the emotions. It just was so cool. Well, when we kept it quiet and see the reaction from Xbox fans. Probably more important to me right now is the Bethesda teams because those teams are going to be very, very critical to our progress going forward. So exciting news. I can't wait to get it closed and so we can start working like one company. Incredibly excited about Starfield and a lot of the other things, some of those things announced, some of them not announced, that they're working on. Alright, so this single statement does really show the plans and expectations that Xbox has with Bethesda. They expect them to be a massive part of their future in gaming, which of course they do. They just spent $7.5 billion on everyone in that company. It's not just the IPs and the games, it's also the talent working there. So when we hear Phil Spencer talk about Bethesda and how they're very, very critical to their progress going forward, it does make me think that a lot of the games that are going to be in development there are going to be be focused on the Xbox platform. Does that mean they're going to be exclusive to Xbox? Who knows? But if I had to make a choice, I would say yes, most of those games, especially the single player games, will most likely be exclusive. It's something I've said for a very long time, and it's something I have a feeling will happen. And again, Phil Spencer brings up Starfield as a game they talk about a lot. I just have this weird feeling the game will be exclusive, if not only on Xbox and PC, but maybe come to PS5 or the PlayStation platform a year or so later. Yet the one thing that Phil Spencer does in this interview that he hasn't done in others is compare Bethesda to the other studios within Xbox Game Studios, which he does right here. I just think they're going to be an incredible addition to our studio, because when I think about our RPG capability with Obsidian, with An Exile, with the work that Playground is doing, which is now out there with Fable obviously, and with that Bethesda can do, it's massive capability. I think about our FPS capability with id and obviously 343 and the work that we can do. Just it doubles the size of our first party studios when Bethesda joins, which is amazing to think about. Now, this is one of those telling points of the interview, because while we've been waiting for the acquisition to finalize between ZeniMax and Microsoft, executives on both sides have kept pretty quiet on certain aspects of the games being made. In fact, both companies haven't really announced a lot of things for the future of their platforms since this was announced. It's because they want the deal to go through so they can finally work as one company. And seeing Phil Spencer talk about Obsidian and An Exile along with Playground Games does show they see Bethesda as that type of studio. Will they publish their own games? Sure, they'll market them because they have those people in place and they're good at what they do. But that doesn't mean they won't make games exclusively for Xbox. That's something I have a feeling we'll see as time goes on and we see what they finally have in store for the Xbox platform. This is something I've talked about extensively. I've mentioned and hinted that almost all the games that are made at ZeniMax will be exclusive to the Xbox platform. And with Phil Spencer bringing up Starfield and other games, you can see they're really excited about the prospect of those games pushing their platform. But do you want to know what the biggest telling point for me is? What makes me think games will be exclusive? It's the fact that Bethesda hasn't announced anything at all. They've only shown the games they've already talked about. They haven't brought up Wolfenstein 3 or any other games we don't know about. Games that we know studios are working on. That to me shows that a lot of these unannounced games are going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform, because acquisitions like the ZeniMax Xbox deals takes months and months of negotiating. So we know that Xbox knows the games in development there, and I bet they've kept a lot of those games under wraps so they can announce them in 2021 as exclusive to the Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. That to me is the most telling point. It's the fact we haven't seen anything announced from Bethesda outside of the games we've known about for over a year now, or games they have deals with Sony on. Everything else has been kept close to the vest and really not shown to fans. That's why I have a feeling a lot of these games are just going to be exclusive, because they knew that Xbox acquisition was coming down the pipeline. And the amount they've grown from the Bethesda deal and the amount of games Xbox can make is starting to become staggering, which is something Larry and Phil bring up here when they talk about studios and games. Larry Herb, it doubles the numbers, but the other parts of it almost quadruples it just in footprint and catalog, right? Phil says, and geography, I think about where they are, which is an important thing because I want to have teams in different places in the world, to which Larry Herb says, well, that's so nowadays because we're all over the place. Phil Spencer, that's right. But we always tell stories through our own lived experiences, and I'm excited about getting to know some of those. I know some of the teams, I don't know other parts of the team, but that'll be a fun part of it. But yeah, I'm excited about 2021, and Bethesda is an incredibly important part of that. And that's where I want to end the video, because this just shows that Xbox has massive, and I mean massive, plans for 2021 and beyond. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get a lot of these announcements once the Bethesda deal is done. We'll probably get some shows in May or June again, with another massive event in the summer. Throw in another event in the fall or around November, and we can see Xbox kicking off this Xbox Series X generation the right way, which is with a lot of games, which I'm excited about, because the Xbox One generation wasn't the best for Xbox, and I'm glad that they're putting this investment in games, because that's what's the most important part of this console. It's the games that are being made and the games I'll be able to enjoy on it along with everyone else listening. It's the games we'll play on these consoles. But let me know what you think about all of this. Do you think Xbox is going to make Bethesda games exclusive? What other plans can you see Xbox put together? Will we see unannounced AAA games from Bethesda announced? Will Xbox give some of those Bethesda teams other Xbox franchises to work with? Can we see id Software work with 343 Industries on the next Halo? What new studios do you see joining Xbox? Are you excited for Xbox this generation? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there. So get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. Right now, I'm playing a lot of Call of Duty. I'm really enjoying zombies, multiplayer. I really do need to get into the campaign. I started it, but then kind of drifted away from it because I love multiplayer games. And also Rocket League. I've been playing that a lot with my friends, trying to rank up. We're having a lot of fun with it because the new season started, and I love ranking up in that game. It's very skill-based, and I really enjoy it. And I've also been playing Immortals Fenyx Rising, which I've beaten, but I've gone back and played a little bit here and there. Plus, I've been playing with my friend. And Cyberpunk. I've been playing that game a little bit, but then I lost my save, and there's a lot of bugs in the game, so I think I'm just going to wait for it. I think the next game I'm going to do is play Call of Duty, go through the campaign, and then go through Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because I know that's a massive game. So I think Assassin's Creed's going to get my attention the most, and that's what I'm going to be playing. But let me know what everybody else is playing. Everybody here, go down below. What games are you playing? Are you playing your PS5? Are you playing on your Xbox Series X? Let me know what games you're playing, because I love talking about games, and I want to know what everyone's playing. So go down below and let me know. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.